The Pixel 8 Pro might not have the best chipset around, but it's probably the smartest phone ever, which makes it feel extremely fast on the daily. But how does it stack up against the best iPhone ever in this extremely detailed speed test? The iPhone 15 Pro Max is rocking the TSMC-made Apple A17 Pro chipset running on a 3nm process node. Its two main cores are clocked at a whopping 3.78 GHz, but it still only has 6 cores in total. The Pixel, on the other hand, uses the Samsung-made Google Tensor G3 chip, which runs on a 4nm process node, but brings its core count all the way up to 9 total cores. However, it only has one main core, which is clocked at a subpar 2.91 GHz. The Pixel has 12 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM and uses UFS 3.1 storage, while the iPhone has 8 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and utilizes NVMe storage. The iPhone is running the latest version of iOS, and the Pixel is running the latest version of Android. And even though these are two very different smartphones, they are most likely the two most popular devices worth considering this holiday season. That said, it's time to find out which is actually faster. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to start things off with a simple boot to see which one can power on quicker, and it is indeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max doing it in just under 15 seconds as opposed to the Pixel doing it in just over 16 seconds. The iPhone picks up its second score going to its homepage quicker, and now testing the iPhone's 3D Face ID as opposed to the Pixel's optical under-display fingerprint sensor. The Pixel was quicker 2 out of 3 times, and we're not focusing on animations over here, we're focusing on which one actually unlocks it quicker, and the iPhone was quicker now with Face ID, but the Pixel was quicker with its fingerprint sensor. So the iPhone has 3 points wrapping up round 1, and the Pixel has 1 point ending round 1 off over there with a loss. Now we both have them set to the same lux meter readings here, so brightnesses are exactly the same, and their battery percentages are shown here at the start. We'll compare this at the end, and we will also test out the temperature at the start. Once again, we'll compare this at the end to see which one gains the most temperature in degrees Celsius throughout the test. Now, kickstarting the speed test section off, the iPhone 15 Pro Max opened up the clock app quicker than that of the Pixel, and they both started their stopwatch timer pretty much at the exact same time. Going into our second system app here, that being calculator, the iPhone picks up its second point, going into it quite a bit quicker than that of the Pixel. And now doing a simple sum over here to see which one can actually calculate it faster than the other one. If you are into that kind of thing, it is indeed the iPhone picking up its third points as opposed to the Pixel sitting on 0 points at the moment in the speed test section of this video. Going into the camera app now, it was pretty interesting, but the iPhone did indeed open it up quicker, especially since it kind of opens up the app and what is in the app while it's transitioning, which is pretty cool. They both flip to the selfie camera pretty similarly, but the Pixel actually took the photo and saved it to gallery. Most importantly, saved it to gallery quicker than that of the iPhone picking up its first point in the speed test section. Now going into the Photos app on both devices, it was too close to call, but hopping into one of the photos, the Pixel actually opened it up quicker, so the Pixel 8 Pro picks up its second point, now just 2 points behind that of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Going into Adobe Photoshop Express over here, the iPhone picks up its fifth point, and now going into the photo, it is quite a bit faster here on the iPhone as opposed to the Pixel. So if you like to do photo editing, then the iPhone is probably going to be a little bit quicker, as you will see over here as well. Exporting that photo is a lot quicker on the iPhone 15 Pro Max thanks to that wonderful NVMe storage. Now we're going to go into Adobe Premiere Rush, which is an editing software app that you can edit on the go with on your devices. And opening the app, the iPhone picks up its 8th points, going into the project, its 9th point. And now we're going to render this 4K 25 frames per second clip. We're going to be keeping the default resolution and frame rates over here and exporting it on both devices. Now the Pixel unfortunately doesn't have the newer UFS 4.0 storage that we see in many 2023 Android flagships. So the iPhone is still going to come out on top with NVMe storage, doing it in just over 12 seconds as opposed to the Pixel doing it in just over 18 seconds. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max is now sitting on 10 points as opposed to the mere 2 points on the Pixel 8 Pro. But stick with me here, things get pretty interesting. The iPhone picked up its 11th points going into Spotify slightly quicker than that of the Pixel, and it was too close to call going into Spotify over here into an actual song because the iPhone opened it up quicker, but the Pixel loaded the page quicker, so it kind of cancels out the point there, so no point was allocated. Going into Google Chrome, the Google phone did not open it up quicker. It was actually the iPhone 15 Pro Max going into Google Chrome quicker, but searching within the app, the Pixel 8 Pro was quicker than that of the iPhone, picking up its third point, but still just 3 points as opposed to the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 12 points. But like I said, it gets very interesting, and it all starts here with Facebook. So the Pixel 8 Pro jumps into Facebook quite a bit quicker than that of the iPhone, picking up its 4th point. And heading over to my profile over here, which one is it going to be? It was extremely close to call here since they both loaded different things at different times, so no point was allocated. But going into the next app, that being Instagram over here, the Pixel actually loaded into the refresh a little bit quicker than that of the iPhone, so it picked up its 5th point, and now it's 6th point going into my Instagram profile. Now jumping into our next social media app, that being X, formerly known as Twitter. Just by the way, I actually prefer the name Twitter. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below if you prefer Twitter or X. The Pixel jumps into X quicker than that of the iPhone, and going into my profile, it jumped into that quicker as well. So the Pixel actually seems to be doing a better job with social media apps than that of the iPhone, and it really is nearing the gap here. Going into TikTok, however, the iPhone 15 Pro Max picks up its 13th point. Loaded that quite a bit quicker, but it was way too close to call when going into my profile on TikTok. Hopping into our first video streaming app, that being what you're watching this on right now, that being YouTube. Jumping into that one, the Pixel 8 Pro was quite a bit quicker than that of the iPhone, picking up its 9th point. Now just 4 points behind that of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And hopping into my channel over here, it was very close to call since they both loaded different things at different times. And jumping into Netflix now, which one is going to take it? It is indeed the Pixel, surprisingly enough. Going into the profile hub section a little bit quicker than that of the iPhone, and going into the kids profile here quite a bit quicker than that of the iPhone as well. Now just a 2-point difference between the two devices here. Now we're going to be jumping into Geekbench version 6, a benchmark app to test out CPU performance over here. The Pixel opened it up quite a lot quicker than that of the iPhone, which is a bit strange. Just a 1-point difference between these two devices now, and earlier on in the speed test, the iPhone was winning by an insane amount. Now the iPhone did finish Geekbench 6 a lot quicker than that of the Pixel, 4.5 minutes as opposed to 6 minutes and 14 seconds on the Pixel, and the iPhone was pretty much double the score in both single core and multi-core performance. Even though we have those wonderful 9 cores on the Pixel, we do have much higher clock speeds on the iPhone, and it is the only phone that I know of that is running on a 3nm process node. But going into 3D Mark over here, the iPhone 15 Pro Max opened it up quicker. And now we're going to hit start on Wildlife Extreme, which renders at 4K resolution here. The iPhone always takes quite a long time to get this benchmark ready. So with that said, the Pixel finished quicker and picked up its 13th point. Now, yes, the iPhone did get a higher score, but this is a speed test, which means it's all about speed, and the Pixel did go through it quicker, which means it gets allocated the point. Now we're going to be jumping into our first game of 4 over here, starting with a simple game, that being Subway Surfers, and testing out how long it takes to open up. Just over 2 seconds on the iPhone and just over 4 seconds on the Pixel. That is twice as fast on the iPhone opening up a game. Now things get even more interesting when we start loading a more detailed game such as Asphalt 9 Legends. The iPhone picked up another point here, 17.16 seconds, as opposed to the Pixels, which took just a little bit longer than that. And going into the actual game, once we are in the game, the iPhone was a ton quicker than that of the Pixel. We're already playing on the iPhone, whereas the Pixel, we still have to wait for things to load up here. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the iPhone has dimmed its screen quite a bit, probably due to overheating, but we'll have to wait and see what happens at the end. Jumping into Call of Duty Mobile over here, which one can cut it a little bit quicker here. The iPhone with 26 seconds as opposed to the Pixel with 38.5 seconds. That is a massive difference if the game that you play on the daily is Call of Duty. And jumping into the practice range over here, just training, nice and simple to get into, the iPhone was like twice as quick as the Pixel in the scenario. 20 points for the iPhone so far and 13 points for the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Now jumping into Free Fire over here, it was just a few split seconds, but the Pixel was quicker, getting its 14th point as opposed to the iPhone's 20th point. Now the iPhone's 21st point, jumping into training within Free Fire, quicker than that of the Pixel 8 Pro. Wrapping up the speed test portion of this video with the win, no doubt, toward the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But it is worth mentioning that the iPhone 15 Pro Max does cost quite a bit more than the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Now we're going to be checking out RAM over here. Now the only way we allocate a point for RAM is if one phone keeps the app open and the other one kills it. So far they've both kept all the last 4 apps open. We're going in a reverse order over here, so none of them have been allocated a point. And jumping into Netflix, no point allocated. YouTube, the Pixel did have to refresh the page, but it kept it open, so no point allocated. And both of them kept TikTok open, but the Pixel got its first point opening up X and still keeping the page. Same thing for Instagram, picking up its second point. And going into Facebook, they both had to reload it. Jumping into Google, they both kept it open. Spotify, the iPhone kept things running the same way they were, so it picked up its first points. The rest of the apps were pretty much neck and neck on both devices over here. However, jumping into the camera app, while they both still had to reopen it, the iPhone saved the camera mode we were in, which is selfie mode, so no point allocated. But the iPhone kept the calculator app open where the Pixel killed it. And while the Pixel did keep the stopwatch running in the background, it did still kill the clock app, so the point was allocated to the iPhone. But that wraps up this test in just under 20 minutes. Now it's time to get to the total results. The iPhone got 27 points in total, whereas the Pixel got 10 points less than that in total. And the iPhone drained battery the least when compared to the Pixel, especially in terms of milliamp hour per minute readings. But where the iPhone fell behind the Pixel was in terms of temperature, since the Pixel added the least in terms of degrees Celsius gained throughout the test. Now, if you ask me, both of these phones are incredible devices, and no matter which one you pick up, you are getting value for money. Not because they are cheap, but because these are probably the two best devices that you could pick up this holiday season. Now, in terms of raw performance, we focus on speed here, that being round 2. And in terms of speed, the iPhone came out on top. The iPhone actually came out on top in every single situation, but I was kind of expecting that since it does have a much stronger chipset. The Pixel, however, is a very AI-powered smartphone. It is an extremely smartphone. Not sure if you picked up on that one, but if you want the smartest phone available, go for the Pixel, and it feels extremely fast on the daily. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but when it did lag behind the iPhone, it wasn't by too much, aside from gaming, which was expected. Either way, you're getting a great deal on either one of these devices. Let me know if you are Team Pixel or Team iPhone in the comment section down below. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this video as much as I did, testing out the performance of two of the best smartphones around. This is TechNick, and I'll catch you in the next one.